Hello and welcome to this Wheel and Anchor webinar for our Southern Italian sojourn. This region offers, in my opinion, one of the most captivating blends of coastline, countryside, and culture in all of Europe. This trip focuses on two regions: Campania, home to the dramatic cliffs of the Amalfi Coast, the Gulf of Naples, overshadowed by Mount Vesuvius, and the chic island of Capri. The other half of the trip takes us across the bottom of the boot through some quite unexpectedly picturesque countryside, and here we'll end up in the whitewashed towns of Puglia, not to mention the golden Baroque streets of Lecce. Now, many people think of southern Italy as all about the food and the views, and while those are undoubtedly highlights, this trip is designed to reveal the subtler charms as well. The stories of everyday life in a family run masseria, the slow rhythm of a truffle hunt through an ancient oak grove, and the quiet calm of a frescoed cathedral in a town less frequented by mainstream tourism. These are the moments that stay with you long after you've returned home. This is a wheel and anchor sojourn style. We have 5 nights in a strategically situated five-star hotel on the Sorrento coast, 4 nights in our family owned Masseria that we have all to ourselves, and then a few more nights between Naples and Lecce just to round out the trip. This is the pace in which to visit southern Italy, and the feedback of our members who have been along with us is a testament to that. Now, if you're a regular at our webinars, feel free to skip ahead to the map and the day by day breakdown of the itinerary. I've also put in a few thoughts from members who've joined us last year. And if you look in the description just below, you'll find the time markers to jump ahead to those sections. But if you're new to our community, I encourage you to stay with me for the next couple of slides as I share a little bit more about who we are and why this style of travel resonates with so many of our members. Now, before we dive into the details of this journey through southern Italy, I want you to know that this isn't just another travel company presentation. What we've created here at Wheel and Anchor is a community of Canadian explorers who share a common perspective on the way to travel. We are the facilitators of that, and the experiences we offer are a mirror of how the members of this community like to travel. What truly unites us is our shared curiosity about the world and our desire for experiences that go beyond those typical tourist brochures. Now, let me be clear, those famous landmarks, well, they're famous for good reason, and we absolutely include those must-see highlights in every journey. But where our community truly thrives is in those magical moments between the landmarks, discovering that hidden cafe or that stunning viewpoint that most visitors never get to find. And because we believe in the joy of personal discovery, we intentionally build in that precious free time for you to explore exactly what calls to you. What I've discovered in my 34 years of organizing travel is that what transforms a good trip into an unforgettable experience is the people you share it with. There's something special about traveling with fellow Canadians who get your references, share your perspectives, and quickly become friends rather than just travel companions. If that resonates with you, if you value those evening conversations over a little glass of wine or a cup of coffee, those shared moments of wonder and the freedom to both connect and as well as explore independently, then you've found your travel home with us here at Wheel and Anchor. As I mentioned just before, we believe that travel transcends mere location checkmarks. It's about creating imprints on your soul. Now, that might sound a bit poetic, but I'd like to share with you how our philosophy of being well traveled and well connected creates a travel experience that's truly transformative. When we talk about being well traveled, we're describing what I call the curious wanderer's perspective, that remarkable ability to discover fascination, whether you're gazing at the ancient stones of Petra or sharing a meal with locals in a small Italian village. It's about allowing yourself to be immersed in the unfamiliar, letting it reshape how you see the world. To put it in the perspective of this scenic trip around Italy, it's not just about photographing the mountain villages of Amalfi, as stunning as they are, but it's about participating in that mozzarella making experience, which goes beyond the cheese. It gives you a sense of the intense pride and tradition that goes into the production of food here. It's about gaining an understanding of how the land and the daily rituals, which most tourists are totally oblivious to, are in fact at the foundation of the entire local cultural identity. This is our definition of being well traveled. And it naturally flows into being well connected. Following a recent journey through Southeast Asia, I got an email from some of our group who were excited about discovering their shared passions. Two members had discovered that they'd volunteered with the same organization decades apart, and yet another pair had discovered that they lived just a few neighborhoods apart back home. And by journey's end, they were planning regular meetups and their next adventure together. Here's another thing that separates Wheel and Anchor from conventional tour operators. Connection isn't merely about who travels alongside you, it's about how travel reshapes your connections to everything. We strive to create opportunities for you to learn traditional cooking methods and from local families, and to engage with artisans preserving generations old techniques, or to share stories with locals who are just as curious about Canada as you are about their homeland. Together, these elements create what we like to think of as the wheel and anchor transformation, returning home carrying not just mementos, but newfound perspectives that enrich your daily life and lasting friendships that continue to inspire long after your luggage is unpacked. I just want to say a couple more things before we delve into the details of this program. And I want to tell you about who are the people of Wheel and Anchor beyond our members, of course. So, first of all, my name is Gordon Dreger. I'm the founder of Wheel and Anchor. I've been working in and around the travel industry for coming up 35 years. I've organized trips for Canadians to just about all parts of the globe. But I couldn't pull off all of these promises that I've just talked about without an incredible team of people, all of whom are as dedicated to ensuring that we deliver some of the best possible experiences for our members. The person who's most important for you, though, is our lead trip specialist, Paula Zarnick. You can see a picture of her here, and she's the person who, when you drop us a note or give us a call, will most likely be frontline in making sure that you get your questions answered and to assist you in deciding if this trip is right for you. So now let's dive in and find out what makes our trip through southern Italy so special. Our plan for this webinar is pretty straightforward. I'm going to be your virtual guide. I'm going to take you on a little journey around Puglia and Campania in southern Italy. I'm going to share what you can expect from this incredible program. We'll start with a bit of a geographical overview with the map, and then I'll walk you through the day-by-day highlights of this adventure. Now, just so you know, I'm going to be talking about this program going from west to east, that is, starting from Naples and ending in Lecce. We do sometimes offer this program going the opposite way as well, so it just depends on the availability of the accommodations that are very special, but also sometimes not so easy to get. So please do keep that in mind. This will be a 15-day trip through the southern part of Italy. So if you look at the map of the whole country, there's a little inset map there. As you know, Italy is shaped like a boot. And so we're talking about the part that goes from the ankle to the heel, or vice versa, as the case may be. So as I said before, I'm going to talk about the west to east version of this program. We begin in Naples, which is a city that brims with energy, history, and flavor. It's nestled between Mount Vesuvius and the sea, and Naples is the birthplace of pizza and a cultural treasure trove. While our time here will be brief, it's an important stop as we transition towards a slower rhythm going along the coast. From there, we head around the Gulf of Naples to the cliffside town of Vico Equense, will be our home for the first 5 days, and from where we can reach all the main highlights of the area, from the glamour of Capri to the bustling streets of Sorrento, and of course the world-renowned Amalfi Coast, which we're going to visit by private boat, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Along the way, we'll learn to make mozzarella, as I said before, pizza as well. We'll sip some local wines, and we'll share stories while looking out over the sea. Then we journey inland and eastward, stopping first at the extraordinary city of Matera, where ancient cave dwellings carved from limestone whisper stories of a civilization stretching back over 9,000 years. And from there, we continue into the heart of Puglia, one of Italy's most enchanting regions. It's known for its whitewashed hill towns, the olive groves, and of course, the deeply rooted food culture. We'll base ourselves at a traditional Masseria near Locorotondo, using it as a springboard to visit the Trulli of Alberobello and the coastal beauty of Polignano e Mare. And our final stop will be Lecce, which is a golden city of Baroque splendor. It's one of the top Baroque cities in all of Europe. Churches, balconies, and courtyards all feel like open-air museums. And from Lecce, you may opt to take a flight home from the nearby airport of Brindisi, or as many of our members have done on other trips, you can catch the Frecciarossa express train back up to Rome. So let me now dive into the day by day details of our itinerary for this southern Italy sojourn. Benvenuti in Italia, as they say. Welcome to Italy. Our journey begins, as I said, in Naples. This is a city that pulses with life, layered history, and that tantalizing aroma of freshly baked pizza. When you arrive into Naples International Airport, you'll be greeted by your private driver for a comfortable transfer. It's not too long downtown to the hotel. And today it's all about easing into the Italian rhythm. So you've got lots of time to relax, settle in, maybe enjoy a stroll around the hotel's neighborhood. Although Naples has had a bit of a checkered reputation, it's actually quite a safe city, particularly in the daytime. Even a short walk around the Centro Storico, the historical district, you'll find bustling piazzas with locals enjoying their daily espresso. It's always the first thing I do when I get to Italy is have that first cup of delicious Italian coffee. You'll find hidden chapels filled with centuries-old frescoes, and you'll have all of the meals at leisure today. So what better way to begin your adventure than with an authentic Neapolitan-style pizza from a local pizzeria? It'd probably be better than anyone you've had at home before. And that evening, on our first evening, before anyone succumbs to the jet lag, we'll have our first Wheel and Anchor mingle, a little icebreaker that'll give you a chance to get to know your traveling companions. This morning, we'll begin with a warm welcome from your Wheel and Anchor host, who will meet everyone in the lobby for a little orientation. And it's a great time to get to understand how the trip will unfold and hear what makes traveling with our community so special. Around midday, we'll take off from Naples and head to our next stop. We're going to head south and around the coast to a place called Seiano, which is a little village perched above the Gulf of Naples. The drive takes just about an hour, and it'll give your first glimpses of the region's stunning seaside landscapes. When we arrive, we'll check into our beautiful hotel. It'll be an ideal base for the next few days of discovery. We'll then head right out in the afternoon and to the town of Vico Equense, which often flies under the tourist radar, but it's full of character. It's sitting up on a cliff with some incredible sea views, and it blends ancient charm with authentic Italian living. We'll have a little walking tour around. You'll wind around some pastel-colored houses, Romanesque churches, and tiny piazzas where life unfolds at an easy pace. This town is also known for its culinary heritage. It's home to one of the oldest pizza academies in Italy, as well as some of the country's best gelato. After the walk, we'll have our first dinner together at a lovely local restaurant where Southern Italian hospitality comes alive in the form of warm welcomes, vibrant local cuisine, and great shared stories. As the sun sets behind the cliffs, we'll head back to Seiano for a restful evening and dream of what's ahead for the next days. Our home for our time on the Sorrento coast is tucked into the hillside overlooking the Gulf of Naples. The Grand Hotel Angiolieri blends five-star elegance with centuries of story. It was once a Roman villa, then became a convent, and later it was a favorite stop on the Grand Tour, the original tourist route of the 18th century. The hotel is steeped in Southern Italian charm. It has sweeping coastal views and a very peaceful atmosphere. It's really the perfect base for our time in Campania. The hotel features a stunning outdoor infinity pool with views out to Mount Vesuvius, panoramic terraces, lush gardens, which are ideal for a morning stroll or a sunset drink. We have breakfast every day with a view overlooking the bay, and the on-site a la carte restaurant is Michelin star. It has refined local cuisine. So whether you're sipping espresso under the lemon trees or relaxing in the quiet courtyard, the Grand Hotel Angiolieri makes luxury feel effortlessly personal. For our group, we've set aside their elegant, classic rooms, which offer a warm and refined space to unwind. The rooms are bright and thoughtfully designed with traditional Vietri tiled floors, garden views, and elegant decor touches that reflect the spirit of the region. Each one features all the comforts you'd expect from a five-star hotel, of course, air conditioning, free Wi-Fi, a jacuzzi bathtub, and plush robes. It's an ideal place to relax after a day of exploration. By this day, you're going to be anxious to get going to see some of the highlights, so we're going to set sail for one of the most captivating places in all of Italy, the island of Capri. Steeped in myth and beauty, the island of Capri has captivated emperors, poets, and these days movie stars and other jet set types Now it's our turn to discover this incredible spot. After we have a little breakfast at the hotel, we'll head down to the port of Seiano, just beneath our hotel, and we'll board our elegant gozzi. These are the traditional wooden boats that are iconic to the region, and we'll cruise around along the spectacular coastline of the Sorrentine coast. Our guide will narrate the journey as we go along, pointing out some of the striking natural features like the cliffs of the Grotta Bianca and the hues of the Grotta Rossa, as well as the towering stone formations that define Capri's dramatic silhouette. If the sea conditions are okay, we'll stop at the famed Blue Grotto and hear rowboats slip into the narrow cave entrance where sunlight reflects off the seafloor and turns the water into this surreal, luminous blue. It's a natural spectacle that's left visitors in awe since back in the days of ancient Rome. We'll then dock in at Capri, and a minibus will whisk us up the winding road to Anacapri, which is the quieter and more traditional side of the island on top of the mountain. We'll have a gentle little walking tour through the historic streets lined with artisan shops, tiled courtyard, and beautiful bursts of bougainvillea. We'll have time to have lunch on our own. There's some beautiful spots around there. My favorite is in one of the small museums. They have a little cafe in the garden. Love going to that spot. Maybe you'll just settle for a slice of pizza or a little panino. And later on in the afternoon, we'll return back to our Gozzi and have a leisurely cruise back to the mainland, letting the sea breeze and the views wash over us once again. Today's excursion will be a celebration of Italian craftsmanship, family heritage, and the timeless joy of sharing food together. We'll head out in the mid morning to a traditional family run farm in Piano di Sorrento, which is tucked in the hills above the sea between Vico Equense and Sorrento itself. Here you'll find lemon trees and olive groves that frame the view. And our host is going to be the daughter of the cheesemaker. And as soon as you meet her, you'll feel the deep pride and passion that she carries for her family's legacy. And we'll start off with a demonstration of mozzarella. And this is a ritual that is both skill and art. When you watch the transformation from curds into that silky, springy cheese that we all know and love, it's something truly special when you see it up close and how it's actually properly done. We'll then have some time to wander around the orchard gardens, walking amongst the herbs and sit in the citrus trees, and we'll get a taste of what it means to live close to the land in this part of Italy. And then it's our turn to get our hands a bit dirty with a pizza making lesson, that brings generations of tradition to life. You'll craft your own pizza from scratch using ingredients that have been plucked out of the garden, and of course, topping it with that freshly made mozzarella might be the best pizza you've ever had. We'll sit down together for lunch, enjoying what we've made in the relaxed company of our family hosts. And then we have a little surprise. I'm not gonna spoil it, but let's just say what follows is full of rhythm, laughter, and a touch of local flair. It's one of those you had to be there moments that always becomes a group favorite. Later on in the afternoon, we're going to head into Sorrento itself, where a local guide is going to take us on a stroll through the elegant Corso Italia and the lively Piazza Tasso. Sorrento has long been a magnet for poets and artists from Byron to Goethe, drawn here because of the cliffside views, the citrus groves, and the sun-drenched charm. After the trip, we'll have time to shop for some limoncello, explore some tucked-away boutiques, or simply people watch from a shaded cafe. If you're up for it, our host will invite you to join them at the Sorrento Wine 82. This has become one of our favorite Wheel and Anchor spots. It's an intimate wine bar for a glass of something before we head back to the hotel in the evening. Just want to give you a little short glimpse as to our experience here at Wine Bar 82. This is undoubtedly one of our favorite stops on this trip, and you can tell by everyone's smiling faces how much they enjoyed it. Today is a free day, all yours to decide what to do, to wander, and just let the rhythm of southern Italy guide you. After a few days traveling with your fellow members, you might want to do something on your own, or perhaps you've made some new friends and you want to go and experience something together. There's lots of things to choose from. You might start by wandering around Marina di Vico, which is a tucked away beach underneath the cliffs of Coaquense itself. It's loved by the locals, and it's a beautiful spot for a swim or a sun-soaked stroll or just a little cappuccino in a seaside cafe. If you want to do something a little more active, you might take advantage of the excellent transport links from Seiano. The little railway station is just up the road, and within a short train ride, you can be back in the buzzing streets of Naples, or you can head into Sorrento that we visited the day prior, or you could even take another trip by ferry back to Capri if you're feeling a bit adventurous. No matter what, there'll be plenty of options for you to choose from. Our Wheel and Anchor host will be on hand to give you some ideas and directions if you need a little bit of inspiration. So we've got the whole day completely at leisure to follow your cravings. You might just want to relax on the rooftop deck of the hotel and gaze out at that wonderful view. Well rested after our free day, our next day is perhaps the most highly anticipated of the whole trip. Once again, we'll have our leisurely breakfast at the hotel and head down to the port of Seano just beneath. And there we will once again embark on our private Gozzi boat, where we'll set off on a wonderful cruise along the Sorrentine Peninsula, begin with, and the whole coastline will begin to unfold just like a storybook with rugged cliffs, ancient Saracen watchtowers, and tiny hidden beaches that appear like secrets that only the sea could reveal. We'll pass by Punta Campanella, which was once believed to be the site of an ancient Greek temple to Athena, as well as the storied ruins near the Queen Giovanni Baths, where legend has it that a 14th century queen would swim in the moonlight with her lovers. Our first stop, we're going to head all the way down to Amalfi, which was once a powerful maritime republic, and now it's just a charming village steeped in history and beauty. We'll have time to stroll around at our own pace, maybe visiting the 9th century cathedral, or just strolling through the winding alleys, which are lined with artisan shops. Or you might just want to enjoy a gelato on the steps of the piazza. Heading back aboard, we'll then continue on past the legendary Ligali, pardon me, said to be the home of the sirens in Homer's Odyssey. Here, the water sparkles in hues of turquoise and cobalt, and the cliffs seem to fall straight into the sea. Our final stop is going to be the picture-perfect town of Positano, with its pastel-colored houses which cling to the cliffside and its labyrinth of narrow lanes. Positano has been a haven for artists, writers, and dreamers for simply generations. We'll have time to explore, shop for linen and some ceramics, and then you can also have a leisurely lunch at one of the many terrace cafes with views that stretch out to the sea. Later on in the afternoon, we'll head back to Seiano, covering back the same spectacular coastline as we passed on the way there. Just a few scenes from one of our recent trips so you get a sense of the benefit of traveling along this incredible stretch of coastline by private boat. You get all of the magnificent scenery without enduring the notorious road traffic that is associated with Amalfi. Along the route, we pass by some cliffs, coves, and hidden villages that you can't see from land. And of course, arriving into Positano, which looks practically glued to the sides of the mountains, is a scene that will remain permanently etched in your memory. Our excursion today takes us back in time, into the heart of ancient Rome, and to the edge of one of history's most infamous volcanoes. We'll set off in our private vehicle in the morning to the incredible archaeological site of Pompeii. This was once a bustling Roman city, but of course it was abruptly frozen in time when Mount Vesuvius erupted back in 79 AD, which completely buried it under ash. This preserved all of its streets, buildings, and even frescoes in incredible detail. With our expert guide leading the way, we'll walk through the city's remarkably intact ruins, past temples, villas, public baths, and markets, and we'll get a haunting and vivid view into the daily life nearly 2,000 years ago. After this part of the trip, we'll head up to the slopes of Vesuvius itself, and we'll pause just outside the national park for a relaxed lunch at a lovely little winery that, again, one of my favorite stops. We'll have some local cuisine with a view of the landscape that once reshaped history. In the afternoon, we're going to head up the volcano. We drive to a parking area, and those eager for a bit of a challenge can join the guided hike up to the crater rim. It's about a 20 to 30-minute walk gently uphill on loose volcanic gravel. It's somewhat demanding, but it's deeply rewarding because at the top, you'll be able to peer into the vast caldera and take in sweeping views of the Bay of Naples and the Campanian countryside. It's a humbling place because the power of nature here is unmistakable. If you prefer to skip the climb, and it's not really a climb, it's more of a uphill walk, there are peaceful areas near the base to enjoy the mountain air, take in the scenery, and reflect on these awe-inspiring surroundings. Today, we cross a threshold in our journey around southern Italy as we leave the glittering coastlines of Campania and head inland toward the sulfur heart of southern Italy, the region of Puglia. But first, we're going to make a remarkable stop in one of Italy's most ancient and evocative cities. And I've got a few words to share from my last visit there. Behind me here is the incredible city of Matera in the region of Basilicata in southern Italy. What makes this city fascinating is that it is believed to be one of the oldest continuously inhabited settlements in the world. In fact, some historians believe that it may have been inhabited as far back as the 10th millennium BC. It consists of a series of what they call sassi, or basically caves, on levels going up from the so-called Gravina River, which is on a ravine just below the city here. And all of the dwellings that have been inhabited over thousands of years are basically caves. And the whole city was in quite bad condition up until the mid-1950s when they began to excavate it. It was designated a World Heritage Site. And now, as you can see behind me, it is one of the most interesting cities, not only in Europe, but that I've come across anywhere. So hope you'll join me in visiting this amazing spot. We'll enjoy a guided tour around Matera, where we'll learn about its unique architectural evolution, its monastic past, and we'll find out how this forgotten city was reborn, largely thanks to filmmakers and visionaries who saw beauty where others saw ruin. In fact, you might recognize some of the landscapes here from films like The Passion of the Christ and the latest James Bond movie. We'll then continue our way to Puglia, and we'll check in later in the afternoon to our charming Masseria, which is a traditional Apulian farmhouse surrounded by countryside, and that will be our home for the next few nights. We are situated about a kilometer and a half from town, although we will be providing a shuttle service so you can go in and out of town and enjoy dinner in one of the delightful and charming restaurants that you'll find all throughout this old town. The Masseria Aprile, where we'll be staying in Locorotondo, is a beautifully preserved 18th century farmhouse set amongst olive groves and vineyards. It's been family run for 12 generations, and Stefania, who's pictured with me here, is the latest generation to be running the place. This peaceful spot is about a mile from the center of Locorotondo, which you can see here just above me, and it's full of history, tradition, and rustic charm, making it the perfect base for exploring one of Puglia's most scenic and authentic regions. The Masseria is surrounded by 25 hectares of countryside, including ancient trulli dwellings, orchards, a vineyard, and even a small family chapel. Breakfast is served daily in either a early 20th century stone barn or out on the veranda when the weather is nice. Regardless, there's sweeping views over the fields. You'll find hens in the courtyard and walking trails through the woods. It's a slow-paced glimpse into rural Apulian life. In the evening, we'll provide a taxi shuttle into town to be able to enjoy dinner at one of the many trattoria. During our stay, we'll be accommodated in one of 8 individually decorated rooms. Remember, we have the whole Masseria to ourselves. Each of the rooms is full of character and family history, but no two rooms are alike. They vary in size and layout, but they're all comfortably appointed and thoughtfully restored, incorporating antiques and objects from the farm's past. The single rooms are a little smaller, but all spaces offer warmth, charm, and a true sense of place. Our first full day in Puglia will be one to savor. We've got fairy tale architecture, some artisanal traditions, and a long leisurely lunch in the countryside. But let me say a few words about the iconic architectural style of this region. These truly, like the ones you see behind me, are the classic Apulian style of architecture that dates back as far as the 16th century. There's still a lot of questions as to why these were designed and built. They were. Some say that it was a quick form of construction by with these dry stone roofs that could be quickly assembled and disassembled when the tax collectors came, because of course back in those days, well, not unlike now, taxes on property were very high. But anyway, here in the Valle d'Itria, in the central part of Puglia, these style of trulli are you'll find scattered throughout the lovely valleys. Uh, The town of Alberobello, which I just panned through there, is famed for its Trulli houses, and it's earned UNESCO World Heritage designation because of them. We'll explore the winding lanes on a guided walking tour, and we'll learn how these homes evolved here and how they continue to define the identity of this very special corner of the country. After that, we'll head just beyond the village to a local dairy farm where we'll be welcomed like family. In fact, we'll be joining a family. And here in the heart of the Itria Valley, we'll get a firsthand look at the region's most beloved delicacy, burrata. We'll meet the cows, witness the delicate transformation from fresh milk to burrata, and then try our hand at shaping it ourselves. It's a soft cheese with a creamy center that has become a symbol of Apulian cuisine. Now, a lot of people confuse burrata with mozzarella. And so, do you know the difference? Well, certainly on this trip, we'll find out. After that whole experience, we'll sit down in the rustic dining room for a good old fashioned Italian family lunch. We'll have an abundant spread, of course, of burrata, as well as sausages, bombette, and a number of other delicacies from the region. We'll return back to the Masseria in the early afternoon. There'll be time to relax or head back into Loco Rotondo for a bite to eat if you're still hungry, or at the very least to enjoy a glass of wine overlooking the surrounding countryside. On today's excursion, we head towards the sea and we'll follow the curve of the Adriatic coastline to two of Puglia's most picturesque seaside towns, each of which offers a unique blend of history, charm, and natural beauty. Our morning begins in Monopoli, a sun-drenched port town where fishermen still mend their nets by hand and the pace of life seems delightfully suspended in time. Its name comes from the Greek monos polis, meaning only city, which is a nod to its ancient roots. And on our guided walking tour, we'll wander through the labyrinth of whitewashed alleys, past balconies dripping with flowers, and local markets bustling with morning life. At the heart of the old town lies the Cathedral of Monopoli, which is a stunning Baroque church that rises above the rooftops, its ornate facade and soaring bell tower being truly works of art. From there, we take a short drive up to Polignano e Mare, which is dramatically perched on sheer limestone cliffs above the turquoise sea. The town is famed for its jaw-dropping coastal views, which you can take in from a network of balconies and panoramic terraces carved right into the cliffs. Beneath your feet is Lama Monechile, the town's most iconic cove. You can see a picture of it here, often photographed, but best seen in person. An interesting fact about Polignano, it's the birthplace of Domenico Modugno, the legendary Italian singer behind Volare. I'd sing it for you now, but I don't think I would do the song or you or me any justice. So you'll find a statue of Modugno in this along the seafront, his arms wide open as if in mid-song, inviting you to soak in this incredible view. And to top it all off for lunch, we'll stop at a place called Il Covo dei Saraceni, one of our discoveries on recent trips, a beautiful restaurant with sweeping views of the sea, fresh seafood, crisp white wine, and the sound of the waves below. It's the kind of dining experience that lingers long after the last bite. On today's excursion, we stay inland and we head into the golden heart of Puglia, where ancient olive trees and whitewashed towns and proud culinary traditions tell the story of a land shaped by time and terroir. Our day will begin at Masseria Brancati, a historic estate that feels almost sacred, nestled among olive groves as old as time. Some of the trees here are over 3,000 years old, their gnarled trunks twisting like sculptures carved by the wind. This masseria has been producing olive oil since the Roman times, and during our visit, we'll learn both about the ancient and modern pressing techniques. After we explore a genuine Roman underground oil mill, we'll sample a flight of extra virgin olive oils, each one expressing the distinct aroma and character of this fertile land. From the groves, we continue on to Ostuni, the iconic Città Bianca, or White City. It's perched on three hills and gleams under the southern sun. Ostuni seems to float above the olive plains like a mirage. Its lime washed walls were originally meant to reflect sunlight and repel heat, but they've also made it into one of the most visually striking towns in Italy. As we walk around the winding alleys and through the arched passageways, we'll visit the cathedral and uncover stories of its strategic role in protecting the region throughout the Middle Ages. Next, we head to Seia Massapica, one of the Itria Valley's most authentic and under the radar towns. Once it was a major settlement of the Messapi, a pre Roman civilization known for their warrior culture and stone fortifications. Seia is best known as the gastronomic capital of Puglia, good spot for us, and here food is more than sustenance, it's heritage. The town's narrow alleys and humble stone houses speak to its ancient past, while the aromas wafting from its kitchens tell of a deeply rooted culinary pride. We'll finish our day with a long, relaxed lunch. Best way to go at Masseria Montedoro, a beautifully restored countryside farmhouse where tradition and flavor meet. We can expect a spread of rustic Apulian dishes, perhaps some homemade orecchietta, garden vegetables preserved in olive oil, and bombette sizzling from the grill, all made from local ingredients and served with the kind of warmth that makes you instantly feel at home. Today, we say goodbye to our family at the Masseria and head deeper into the soul of southern Italy, leaving behind the stone trulli and the quiet olive groves as we make our way to Lecce, an architectural jewel of the south, which is renowned for its ornate Baroque facades. After one last leisurely breakfast, we'll meet our driver and begin our journey, stopping on the way at Brindisi, which is a coastal city steeped in history. Back in Roman times, they called it Brundisium, and it was the terminus of the famous Via Appia, the Appian Way, the road that once linked the empire's capital to the Adriatic Sea. For centuries, Brindisi served as a key port for trade and crusader expeditions bound for the east, its harbor a gateway to distant worlds. Today, it retains its maritime charm with elegant boulevards and a relaxed seafront atmosphere. We'll enjoy a lunch at a local restaurant in Brindisi, taking in the sea and maybe glimpsing at the Roman columns that once marked the end of the Appian Way. By mid-afternoon, we'll arrive in Lecce, where the honey-colored stone of its churches and palaces seems to glow in the southern light. As we check into our hotel, we'll begin to feel the shift. This is a city that blends ancient Roman roots with the exuberant Baroque style and has a distinctly relaxed and artistic rhythm to it. This evening, you'll have time to enjoy dinner at your leisure, whether you opt for a candlelight trattoria tucked into a quiet courtyard or a bustling wine bar on Piazza Sant'Oronzo. Tonight is a perfect moment to begin soaking in Lecce's unique blend of elegance, history, and southern warmth. In the very heart of Lecce's historic center, we'll be staying at the Policastro Boutique Hotel. It's a lovingly restored 16th century residence that's as steeped in legend as it is in elegance. It's tucked between Piazza Sant'Oronzo and Porta San Biagio, and this hidden gem places us just steps away from Lecce's most noteworthy buildings, as well as artisan shops and vibrant piazzas. It's an atmospheric base for the final chapter of our journey. Policastro is more than just your average hotel. It's a storybook of Lecce's past. From its stone angel holding Lecce's iconic bread to tales of saints and miracles, every detail reflects centuries of tradition. The building opens onto lush terraces and rooftop views, and breakfast is served in an elegant setting with a focus on local flavors. There's even a serene rooftop garden to retreat to with a glass of wine as the city glows beneath you. The rooms here are each uniquely styled, with elegant materials, local stone, and a strong sense of place. They vary in layout, but each offers a blend of charm and modern comfort. We have upgraded rooms available as well, and they have features from private terraces to spa style marble tubs and even round beds. But regardless, every room offers a restful space to unwind right in the heart of the city. Welcome to Lecce, a city where time slows down and every building tells a story carved in stone. It's nicknamed the Florence of the South, even though it is far less well known and hence far less busy than its uber popular northern counterpart. This morning, we'll set off on a guided walking tour through Lecce's historic core, beginning in the magnificent Piazza del Duomo, one of the most elegant enclosed squares in Italy. As we explore its palaces, bell tower, and cathedral, our attention will be drawn to the Pietra Leccese, which is the soft local limestone prized for its warm color and carvability. And this is what gives the city its signature glow. We'll then head over to the Basilica di Santa Croce, a true masterpiece of southern Italian Baroque. Its facade is nothing short of a visual feast. Grotesques, mythological beasts, and saints all entwined in ornate detail, designed to inspire awe. After the trip, we'll have a whole afternoon at leisure to enjoy wandering around on our own. While every town that we visit is worthy of a leisurely wander, here it's practically a must. You might visit some of the city's artisan workshops where masters of cartapesta, paper mache sculpture, continue a centuries old tradition. Or you might just stop for a refreshing caffè leccese, an iced espresso sweetened with almond milk and best enjoyed in a sunlit square with the sound of church bells in the background. In the evening, we'll come together once again for a group dinner at a chosen local restaurant, after which I highly recommend taking the streets once again. In my opinion, it's even more beautiful after the sun goes down because the warm glow from the lanterns give it a feel like walking through the set of a film set in medieval times. As our journey gradually winds to a close, on this day, on the 14th day of our trip, we have a quite a fitting finale, one that brings together the natural beauty, the ancient history, but most importantly, one of the region's most important culinary treasures. We begin the day with a truly memorable experience, a truffle hunt in the countryside near Maglia or Otranto, depending on the season. Guided by a local expert and their highly trained dogs, will head into the quiet of the forest and learn about the secrets of this elusive delicacy. Truffles are sometimes known as diamonds of the earth, and they've been prized since Roman times for their intense aroma and their rarity. Finding them in the wild is a fascinating and surprisingly joyful adventure. From the forest, after our truffle hunt, we'll head to Otranto, where the Adriatic meets the Ionian Seas in a dazzling display of color and coastline. This ancient town, with its whitewashed buildings and turquoise waters, once stood as the easternmost outpost of the Roman Empire. But underneath its beauty, there's a layered and at times tragic history, including the 15th century Ottoman siege that left a lasting imprint on its identity. We'll look around Otranto on a guided walk, and we'll have a visit to the town's most extraordinary site, the Cathedral of Santa Maria Annunziata. And inside, you'll find one of the largest and most intricate mosaic floors in all of Europe. It was created back in the 12th century by a monk named Pantaleone, and it spans the entire nave. This mosaic depicts everything from biblical scenes to mythical creatures as Alexander the Great and even King Arthur. It's an incredible blend of spirituality and legend right at our feet. Afterward, we'll have a lovely farewell lunch at a countryside restaurant. It'll be, of course, a truffle-infused feast, which will allow us time to celebrate the friendships we formed and the incredible memories we'll have had on this trip around southern Italy. We'll have dishes that are prepared truly with care and creativity, and each one being a final expression of the region's rich culinary heritage. And just like that, the journey will come to a close. And although we've taken time to explore some wonderful spots in both Campania and Puglia, it will nevertheless have seemed like the time has flown by. After our breakfast, we'll get a private transfer either to the Brindisi airport if you are going to fly home, or as many of our members have done, is to take the train from the railway station, the Frecciarossa, Italy's famous express train, will whisk you back to Rome in the matter of a few hours. So at this point, it's arrivederci e buon viaggio. Here's a few thoughts from some of our members on our recent southern Italian sojourn.
The most important part of any of our trips has always been the connection with the people you travel with, and then what you learn from there.
This is my second trip to Italy, one quite a few years ago. My first with Wheel and Anchor to Italy, but my second actual trip with Wheel and Anchor. And I have to say, it's been amazing. The things that really stood out for me was, well, besides the obvious beautiful architecture all throughout Italy, has been it's been incredible how close you get with 15 people in such a short period of time. And I know that some of us will definitely be meeting up again.
The Masseria was incredible because I think as a group that's where we bonded. We also had a great time making pizzas and dancing and using their music one day. I can't say enough about our tour guide Todd. He made us all feel like we were a family. And I would highly recommend Wheel and Anchor. So I highly encourage all of you to try it. The small group size makes us feel like a family.
If what I've shared today about our trip to South Italy appeals to you, and if you're looking for more details, we've got lots available. The best way to get it all is to visit our website, and you'll find in the description below a link to the webpage for this trip. And on that webpage, you'll find a summary of the trip as well as the starting prices, but most importantly, a link to the detailed program itinerary, which is a full-color digital brochure that explains each day of the trip, as well as all of the prices, all of the inclusions, everything you need to know. On top of all that, we produce a trip-specific reference guide that gives you logistical details, answer to some common questions about the weather and the climate and the kind of things that you'd want to know about traveling to southern Italy. And our aim is to provide you everything that you need to know with just a few clicks. Of course, there's always that lingering question, or maybe you just want to have a conversation with somebody to really understand whether this trip is right for you. The best way to do that is to drop an email to us, or you can certainly also give a call, and Paula will be the one to speak to, and she'll be delighted to assist with any questions to make sure that you have everything you need to know to be able to join us on this trip. Thank you so much for joining me on this virtual journey covering our South Italy sojourn. I hope it's given you a bit of a glimpse of what you can expect. Our trips are really designed to give you more than just a typical sightseeing tour. They're about experiencing a destination as if you were a temporary local. We've chosen all the excursion and dining spots very carefully, and many of them have been vetted by myself personally from my previous trips to the region. Most importantly, there's enough free time for you to explore at your own pace while also discovering the culture, cuisine, and history of each destination. If you enjoy following our webinars on new trips, you might consider subscribing to our YouTube channel by clicking on, of course, the subscribe button, which you'll find just below. And that way you'll be alerted every time we release a new webinar or trip. But finally, thank you for taking the time to explore this part of the world with me. And if you're not already on our newsletter list, I invite you to join our community by visiting our homepage and simply clicking on the button marked join. Perhaps we'll see you on one of our trips or at one of our social events. And in the meantime, I wish you happy travels.